The room fell into an unnatural silence as Emily's body crumpled to the floor, her breath ragged and shallow. The air was thick, suffocating, as if the very walls of the house held their breath, waiting. The entity had accepted the sacrifice, but something felt wrong. I dropped to my knees beside her, my fingers brushing against her clammy skin. "Emily!" My voice cracked, but she didn't respond. Her eyes flickered open, the warmth behind them replaced by something foreign, something ancient. A shiver crawled down my spine. I had expected a change, but not this. It was as if something had crawled inside her skin and made itself comfortable, wearing her like a disguise. A slow, hollow smile curled at the corners of her lips. "It's done," she whispered, her voice layered, as if another presence spoke alongside her. The shadows in the room writhed, no longer attacking but retreating, coiling into the corners like obedient dogs waiting for their master's command. My stomach twisted. Emily wasn't just carrying the curse, she had become something else entirely. Her movements were too controlled, too unnatural, as if she was no longer fully in charge of her own body. My breath hitched as her fingers twitched and she slowly sat up, tilting her head as though listening to something I couldn't hear. The flickering candlelight cast long, stretching shadows on the walls, and I had the distinct feeling that they weren't entirely hers. A sharp knock at the door sent a jolt of fear through me. Who would be here at this hour? I hesitated before standing, glancing back at Emily. She remained on the floor, unmoving, staring at the ceiling with a dazed expression. The knock came again, harder this time. I forced my feet forward, every step weighted with dread. When I opened the door, a woman stood in the dim light of the hallway, her face partially obscured by a lace veil. "You have to leave," she said, her voice urgent, shaking with fear. "They're coming for her. The ritual didn't end it, it only opened the door wider." A cold dread settled in my bones. "Who are you? What do you mean?" I demanded, my voice barely above a whisper. She glanced over my shoulder, her eyes widening in horror. "You don't understand. She's not alone in there. She's just the beginning." My heart pounded as I turned back to Emily, who was now sitting upright, her head tilted at an unnatural angle. Her lips parted, but the voice that came out wasn't hers. "You should listen to her. The gates are open now. The wedding is far from over." The shadows in the room thickened, and the walls groaned as if something massive moved within them. A low, guttural hum resonated through the air, vibrating deep in my chest. The woman in the veil grabbed my wrist, her grip ice cold. "If you want to save her, you have to break the vow before midnight. The longer she stays bound, the stronger they become." My mind reeled. How could I break a vow I never made? But I had no time for hesitation. The house trembled, the air vibrating with an unseen force. Emily stood, her movements no longer her own. Her gaze locked onto mine, and for a split second I saw a flicker of the woman I loved trapped behind the monster she was becoming. Her lips moved silently, forming words she couldn't speak aloud. "Run!" the veiled woman hissed, and as the shadows surged forward, I had no choice but to obey. The walls groaned and buckled, the very structure of the house warping as if something enormous was pressing against it from the inside. The doorway where the woman had stood moments ago had vanished, replaced by a swirling void of darkness that pulsed like a living thing. The whispers grew louder, voices overlapping in an eerie symphony, each one carrying a different emotion: rage, sorrow, despair. Emily's body convulsed as she took a step forward, her limbs moving as if guided by invisible strings. I wanted to reach for her, to pull her away from whatever force had taken hold, but the woman's grip tightened around my wrist, her nails digging into my skin. "It's too late for that now," she murmured. "If you go back in there, you won't come out the same, if you come out at all." I swallowed hard, my pulse thundering in my ears. This wasn't just about Emily anymore. The ritual hadn't sealed the curse, it had set something loose, something old, something hungry. And now I had to find a way to stop it before it was too late.